Hey everybody, Dan Cavallari with the Practical Still, and I'm here to open a bottle of Penelope. This is straight bourbon whiskey, barrel strength, 116 proof. This is batch number 5. For those of you who are wondering, this is MGP. It is bottled by Penelope Bourbon Bottling Company in Bardstown, Kentucky. This is another one that I got down at Spirits Wine Provisions, my local place where I like to buy my bottles. This is new to Colorado, so this was an exciting one to pick up. I don't know a ton about Penelope. It is non-chill filtered, so that's exciting. And this batch was blended from 3 bourbon mash bills that are aged a minimum of 36 months in new American oak barrels. Each barrel was carefully hand-selected and blended into a single batch to create this unique offering. So now we know a little bit about Penelope. So this should be good. I'm curious about it. You know, I've had kind of a run of MGP bottles that have just been okay. There's been a few that I really, really liked. Really liked that Blount Brothers Old Fangled Nodder Bourbon. That was quite good, an MGP. But lately, the MGPs have been a little uninspired, so I'm curious about this one. Let's see how the bottle's beautiful, by the way. Really did a lovely job with that. You know, this nice gold gilt lettering. There's sort of an overlay of flowers. Let's see how this thing smells actually in the glass. All right. My nifty glass. Very caramelly nose. It's pleasant. It's not like blasting in the face caramel, but it's really quite nice. If you get your nose way in there, I've got a big sniffer, so it helps. Yeah, I'd say the primary smell there is caramel. So let's see if that comes across on the palate here. Yeah, I mean, you definitely get the caramel. It's nice. This isn't very hot. I mean, it's what I say, 116 proof. Really mellow across the tongue. That's nice. And the finish is decent. It goes on for a while. I'd say you get some of that caramel. It's not super complex though. I mean, I get that caramel, and there's maybe some clove. Yeah, Mark and I have talked a lot about this on the podcast, and everybody kind of knocks MGP because it's MGP. It's not your Kentucky bourbon. But there's a few out there in MGP land that are pretty good. And I think my story anyway with MGP is that a good MGP whiskey will probably it'll do one thing really well. It won't have that deep complexity of some of the stuff you'll get from Kentucky and these barrels that have been aged forever, and MGP doesn't generally do that for me. But a sign of a good MGP to me is one that does one or two things really well. And I would say this Penelope is really it's flavorful, but it only has really one primary flavor to me, and that's that caramel. But it does it well. So I would say, on the whole, just having opened this just now, and I'm on the spot because I'm on the video here, but I would say this is one of those whiskeys from MGP that is in the higher echelons of MGP. And I would put this up there with Smoke Wagon. I've had a couple of Smoke Wagons, and one of them was really fantastic, but it still only did one thing really well. But in my mind, I would buy it again. It was really good. The one thing that it did really well. Penelope to me is kind of like that. It's doing that caramel thing, but it's doing it really well. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. I'd like to let it sit in the glass for a little bit, and I'll open the bottle again and drink through it, and I'll do a back to the bottle maybe when I get below the beautiful gilt P here. I don't know. I'm curious to see how this one will be after it's been open for a while, if it gets any more complexity. Right now, I would say, this is a beautiful bottle to have on the shelf. It does one thing pretty well. It's not hot, which is nice for a 116 proof whiskey. This is a pleasant sipper. I don't mind having this on the shelf at all. I think I paid somewhere in the range of $60 for this. It's pretty fair. So I'll come back to the bottle on this one and let you know how I think after it's been on my shelf for a while and I've been sipping on it for a bit. Cheers.